Good morning, this is Kavi Priya, Assistant Professor, EC Department. I am going to discuss about the topic State Election Commission, role and functioning. So what is the State Election Commission? Ever since the adoption of constitutional provisions, the states passed their own legislations for the panchayat and municipalities and incorporated the provision was setting up a State Election Commission. However, some states such as Punjab has passed a separate act for setting up of State Election Commission. Most of the states constituted the State Election Commission, which have been entrusted with the function of conducting regular, free, fair and impartial elections to the local bodies in the state. And next is what is the State Election Commission composition and setup? In all states, the state election commissioners are headed by a state election commissioners are appointed by the governor. So the state election commissioner is a head and being it appointed by the governor. However, in some states like Punjab, there is a provision for appointment of a deputy election commissioner. In most of the states, a retired servant or retired judge is appointed as an election commissioner. So first we have this election commissioner in the structure. Election commissioner is one, it is being appointed, he is one who appointed by the governor. So the governor by notification in the official gazette appoints an officer of a state government not below the age of 55 years and of rank of financial commissioner or principal secretary to the state government having a stay services as much for minimum period of 2 years, or serving or a retired judge of high court as a state election commissioner. The state election commissioner is being appointed by the governor. And next is a deputy election commissioner. The state government appoints one or more than one deputy election commissioner to assist the state election commissioner in discharge of his or her duties under his act and rules made there under, and also appoints a secretary to the state election commissioner. Other election officers are, first one is a district electoral officer. There is a district electoral officer for each district subject to the superintendent's direction and control of the state election commissioner. At the district level, district electoral officer mainly supervises the preparation, revision and correction of electoral rolls. The officer also performs other functions as entrusted to her or him by the state election commissioner. And next is a electoral registration officer. The electoral rolls for each panchayat or municipality are prepared and revised by electoral registration officers. The electoral registration officers employ persons for the preparation and revision of electoral rolls for panchayat or municipalities. And next is a returning officer. For every constituency, for every election to fill a seats in a panchayat or a municipality, the state election commissioner in consultation with the state government designates or nominates an officer of a state government or of local authority as a returning officer and one or more assistant returning officers. Next is a polling station and presiding officers. District electoral officer provides a sufficient number of polling stations for every constituency with or his jurisdiction and publishes a list showing the polling stations and polling areas or group of voters. And next, what are all the powers of a state election commissioner? So the power of a election commission as a civil court. The election commission has a power of a civil court for an inquiry in the following matter. First one is they can summon and enforce the attendance of any person and examining her or him on oath. They requires the discovery and protection of documents or other material object producible as a evidence. Requisition of public record or copy thereof from any court or office. They receives evidence on affidavits. Issues orders for examination of witness or a document. And next, what are all the powers to make rules? The duties of presiding officers and polling officers. the checking of voters with reference to the electoral roll, the manner in which votes are to be given to the constituency, the procedure to be followed in case of tendering a vote by a person representing herself or himself to an elector, manner of giving and recording of votes by means of voting machines, and the procedure has to be followed at polling station where such machines will be used, the security and counting of votes before the declaration of results. These are all the things done by the election commission. And next is the preparation of electoral rolls. So next we're going to see about what are all the functions that is done by the state election commission. First important function is the preparation of electoral rolls. For every panchayat and municipality there is an electoral roll which is prepared under the superintendence and direction and control of a state election commissioner. The roll for each constituency is prepared in the prescribed manner and comes into force in accordance with the rule made under the Act. The electoral rolls for every constituency is revised before every general election and before every by-election to fill a casual vacancies. And next is the appointment of dates for nomination is another function that is performed by State Election Commission. Last date for making nomination, which is the 7th day after the date of publication of first mentioned notification, and in case of public holiday, the next succeeding day that is not a public holiday. The date for scrutiny of nominations for election, and the last date for withdrawal of a candidate by the candidature by the candidate, date when a poll has to be taken, last date before which election is to be completed. All these dates are fixed by the State Election Commission. And next is a public notice of election is a function that is done by the State Election Commission. On issuance of notification, returning officer gives public notice of inter-election, inviting nominations of a candidates for election and specifying the place at which nomination papers will be delivered. These are all done by the State Election Commissions. And next is the publication of list of contesting elections is done by the State Election Commissions. So after the expiry of period within the candidates are withdrawn, returning officers prepares and publishes a list of contesting candidates. It is a list of validly nominated candidates who have not withdrawn their candidatures within a late period. The list contains the names in alphabetical order and address of contesting candidates as given in the nomination papers, which were together with the other particulars. And next is a fixing time for poll. Thus SC, State Election Commission, fixes the hours during which the poll has to be conducted and fixed hours are published. The period allotting for polling at the election cannot be less than 8 hours per day. And next is the adjournment of poll in the emergencies. If there are any proceedings at the polling stations are interrupted or obstructed, the presiding officers may announce an adjournment of poll under or his jurisdiction. And next is the counting of votes. After every election of panchayat or municipality, votes are counted under the supervision and direction of returning officers. That's all about the role of State Election Commission and what are all the functions that is done by the State Election Commission and what are all the powers of the State Election Commission. Thank you.